What's something you saw as a kid but didn't realize was messed up until you were older? When I was 7, my dad started bringing his work friend, Sarah, to our house. She was young, pretty, and always brought me candy. My mom worked night shifts as a nurse, so she was never around when Sarah visited. Dad said it was our little secret, and I happily agreed because I loved the treats. Sarah would come over 3 or 4 times a week. Sometimes they'd disappear into Dad's office for hours while I watched TV. Other times she'd stay for dinner and help me with homework. I thought it was normal, just a nice lady being friends with my dad. One night I woke up thirsty and walked downstairs for water. I heard strange noises from the office and peeked through the crack in the door. Dad and Sarah were on the couch, but they weren't working. I didn't understand what I was seeing then, but I knew enough to feel like I shouldn't be watching. The next morning at breakfast, Mom noticed a lipstick stain on Dad's collar. He said it must have been from when she hugged him goodbye before her shift. Mom got quiet and just stared at her coffee. A few weeks later, I was playing hide and seek with my friend Tommy. I hid in Dad's office closet and found a shoebox full of photos. They were all of Sarah, at the beach, at restaurants, in hotel rooms. Some had notes written on the back, missing you already, and can't wait to see you again. I showed the photos to Mom that night. I thought she'd be happy to see pictures of Dad's friend. Instead, she started crying and called Aunt Rachel to come over. They sent me to my room, but I could hear Mom screaming at Dad through the walls. The next day, Mom packed our bags while Dad was at work. She said we were going on a surprise vacation to Aunt Rachel's house. I was excited. I loved my aunt's pool. But when we got there, Mom sat me down and explained we weren't going back home. Dad called that night, begging Mom to come back. He said Sarah meant nothing to him. Mom just hung up. Through my bedroom door, I heard her telling Aunt Rachel that Sarah was pregnant. Dad had been planning to leave us for her. 2 weeks later, Dad moved Sarah into our old house. He said I could visit whenever I wanted, but something felt wrong about being there. Sarah tried acting like my new mom, decorating my old room with princess stuff and making my favorite foods. But every time I saw her, I remembered my real mom crying. One weekend, I overheard Sarah telling Dad she lost the baby. He didn't seem sad. If anything, he looked relieved. That's when it hit me. He'd only agreed to be with her because of the pregnancy. A month later, I caught him kissing another woman in his car outside a restaurant. When I told Sarah what I saw, she broke down. She admitted she'd never actually been pregnant. She'd lied because she was afraid of losing Dad. She thought a baby would make him commit to her. Instead, he started cheating on her just like he'd cheated on Mom. Sarah moved out the next day. Dad tried dating other women, but word got around about what he'd done to our family. No one wanted to be with him. He started drinking heavily and lost his job. Last I heard, he was living in a small apartment, working as a security guard. Mom thrived after the divorce. She went back to school and became a nurse practitioner. We moved to a better neighborhood, and she eventually married a kind man named Thomas, who treated us both with respect. He never brought work friends home or asked me to keep secrets. When I turned 18, Dad tried reconnecting. He said he regretted everything and wanted to make amends. But I couldn't forget how he'd made me complicit in his affair, using me to cover his tracks and buying my silence with candy. I told him I wasn't interested in having a relationship.